in journals, book publications, chapters, etc. Recently, he recognized as a International Data Science Writer of the Year 2019 by Data Science Foundation, UK. He published more than 4 international patents as well as 31 Indian patents, and he received so many funds from various agencies like SEED, CSIR, etc. And he served as resource person for various Atal AICT sponsors FDP programs. So he served as a editorial board member as well as a reviewer for various IEEE SAA indexed journals in the reputed journals, sir. So very happy to have you, sir. So we are eagerly waiting for your valuable session related to blockchains and food technologies, etc. So I hand over the session to Dr.S. Balakrishnan, sir. The session is yours, sir. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much for a nice introduction, Dr. Prasad.
Can
you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's audible.
Yeah, just I will share my screen here. Screen is visible, the PPT?
Not yet, sir.
What about now? Is it okay?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Very visible, sir.
So, yeah. Good afternoon to everyone. Thank you so much for your nice introduction. It gives me a great pleasure for me to extend my wishes to all the participants. So the today topic is blockchain in food industry. So whenever we are talking about the blockchain, just we are considering about only for the financial oriented application. But apart from that, the blockchain nowadays, actually, mainly we are using the blockchain in food industry also. So when the blockchain first actually started to emerge, so the expert only we thought it was limited to the financial industry only. But over the time, the blockchain started to push for adoption in various industries that outside the finances. At the moment, the food industry that seems to be one of the most inclusive destination for blockchain technology. So over the past couple of years, various food business players are announcing their very own blockchain initiative, very particularly in USA. But not only that, but in 2019, the blockchain started to disturb the industry at a rapid rate. So according to the research, more than 20% of the top global companies will use a blockchain by the year 2025. So based on the survey, based on the research, the next 2025, we may go with that 20%. We are adopted with the blockchain technology in all the domains. So the global blockchain, particularly the global blockchain in agriculture and food supply chain market size is estimated to be $133 million in 2020, and it's also projected to reach approximately $948 million US dollar by 2025. So that's a forecasting in another 2025. So it's from $133 million to $948 million. So this means the application of the blockchain in the food industry will increase over the upcoming years. So what makes this blockchain technology so much appealing that food industry giants are implementing their own solutions? So in this session, in next one and a half hours, just we are going to discuss how important that blockchain is for the food industry and how it can reshape the future of food industry like that. So with this short description, short introduction, just I will start the session. Actually, the second slide. Is it possible to view it? The second slide.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah. General outline.
So So yes. So actually the overview of today's session is just we'll start with the introduction about the blockchain, and next the importance of blockchain technology and very particularly the food industry, and what are the benefits of blockchain technology in the food industry, and what are the applications of blockchain in food industry, and finally, actually, the five important blockchain companies improving the food industry are very particularly in USA, and conclude with that how to build your own blockchain using Node.js, and finally conclude the session. So this is an overview of today's topic. So that is just we'll start with the introduction of blockchain technology. So whenever we are talking about that blockchain, in basic term, the basic terminology or basic terms of that blockchain is nothing but is a digital distributed ledger. Mainly, it's maintained by a network of multiple computing machines. It stores the data in the form of blocks that are cryptographically secured and immutable. So the blockchain is a brainchild of the person or a group of people known by the pseudonym like Satoshi Nakamoto. So he is a person. So it was the first reported in 2008, and since then have become a very popular among the IT fanatics. So the brief overview, actually, whenever we talk about that blockchain, the blockchain technology was developed to innovate the financial transactions using the Bitcoin, very particularly for the finance-oriented applications. So the Bitcoin as a currency exchange and a cheap, reliable global payment system. So apart from that, it bypasses the traditional financial intermediaries like a bank and other activities. So that's why it's mainly meant for a financial-oriented application. But in the early stage, it was like that. But nowadays, actually, almost the blockchain technology is adopted for all the real-time applications, not only for the financial. So at that, actually, the brief overview of the technology would show the complexities of the blockchain development. So before entering into the next slide, what is the introduction or what is the overview of the blockchain? See, whenever we are talking about the blockchain emerged a decade ago, but it's a Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the earliest implementation of it, and it is we may say it's a public blockchain. That Bitcoin is a public blockchain. And another very important thing, whenever we are talking about the blockchain, it's a decentralized peer-to-peer network of computers. It's also called as the nodes. So we'll see in the upcoming slide how that blockchain will be, how it works. So here, every information can be stored in the form of node. So in that cases, everything, that's the information are like normal. Actually, we are using the client server technology. Apart from that server technology here, every information can be stored as a decentralized peer-to-peer system, peer-to-peer network of system. It's also called as that node. Here, every node has an entire information on the blockchain. So that making it as a distributed database. So whenever anybody nowadays we are in the security issues, a lot of security issues are there. So whenever we are talking about the blockchain here, there is no central server at all. In that blockchain technology, there is no central server. So if hackers take out one node, then others will still have the entire blockchain. So that's a primary advantage of the blockchain technology. So since here every node always has the latest state of the database, they all can serve as a ledger of all the transactions. So hence the blockchain is also called as the distributed ledger technology. Here the transactions, as I already told you, that's a node. Here the transactions are grouped into blocks. So every node node is separated as a block. Each block has a cryptography hash of the earlier block. So that's the thing. So based on that, what is the cryptography hash function? It secures the blockchain in the quantum computing and other things. That is a very important thing. So this form of linkage from one node to another node or one block to another block, so that appears as a chain. So that's why the name is called as a blockchain. The blocks are nodes are linked with one node is linked with another node, or one block is linked with the other block in the chain format. That's why it's called as a blockchain. So whenever the users on the network have the digital signatures, so which uses the modern data encryption technology. So that's why the entire network of that nodes participate in the transactions validation using a consensus algorithm. So this makes the transaction validation fully transparent and dependent on that in-depth computing like that. So that is an overview of that blockchain technology. So whenever we are talking about how that blockchain will be useful in the food industry, just I want to brief something about how that blockchain will be useful for the food industry. So here, whenever we are talking about the food industry, how that the blockchain concept is adopted in that food industry, in the sense here, normally nowadays the global food supply chain is very massive. So each year, a staggering 4 billion tons of food gets produced each year. Roughly one third or 1.3 billion tons of which gets lost or thrown away. So that's the thing. So that's why that's a very important thing. So for that, the blockchain is very useful for that. So next, the blockchain in the food industry, food safety. See, the previous one, the blockchain in the food industry. Why we adopted, or why we that include this blockchain concept in the food industry, in the sense mainly for avoiding wastage. And another thing, how we are ensuring this safety, food safety. So that will be ensured. That will be ensured with the help of that blockchain technology. So as per the World Health Organization, WHO estimated that 582 million people all over the world suffered from some form of food poisoning in 2010. Actually, that as per the survey, as per the World Health Organization survey in 2010, almost the 582 million people suffered only because of the food poisoning. So in that cases, whenever we are talking about that blockchain in food safety, with the help of that, is approximately 1 out of 14 people were affected, some of whom died as a consequence. So the need for improved accountability regarding the way that food is produced and what makes its way through the supply chain is more important than ever. So nearly every human being on the planet is now reliant on the global food supply chain only. So everything from supply chain management to product recalls will benefit from the blockchain. So here, the food traceability blockchain solutions will allow the food manufacturer to be able to guarantee the food authenticity of that food, whether the food is safety, whether what about the manufacturing date and everything. So that the blockchain solution can be used to track the food product from their source right the way through the supply chain only. So that's why whenever we imagine actually when where a farmer initiate the creation of a new blockchain after harvesting their crop. So actually the blockchain will be very useful from the starting from the day one. When that the farmer harvesting their crop, starting from that, here is nothing but here's some essential information such as the time, date, location, and even the types of fertilizers, what type of fertilizers we are using during the production. That everything will be recorded in the database as a blockchain applications. So next, after actually the crop, after cultivating everything, next the very important thing is the goods are received by the transportation company. That detail such as the time of the collection, transportation time, and the detail of the driver and vehicle good, all the information will be recorded. That is the second important thing. And apart from that, here everything make it as a block. The first block, all the cultivation, all the details. So the agriculture oriented here, when the farmer, when and where the farmer initiating all the information, everything will be stored in a one block. And after that, after cultivating the things, after that, it will be that particular goods will be transported to somewhere for the next other purpose. So in that cases, all other information that can be make it in another block like that. So that's the thing. So like that, another block would be added as the goods that make it to the warehouse for processing to record for all the essential data. So that process will be taken in the blockchain. With the help of the blockchain, every information from the stage to stage. So that's a very primary application of this blockchain in the food industry. So like that. So actually nowadays we are aware of that Walmart. See, mainly the Walmart tested a blockchain supply chain that has been developed by IBM. So they found that they were able to track the same. Suppose if they are cultivating mango or some other thing. So they are tracking within a 2.2 second where the mango actually that just they are getting the tracking the information about the mangoes. So that's why that blockchain will improve the food safety, that everything will be available in that blockchain food industry. So next, how it works. So whenever we are talking about that working principle of that blockchain, here initially someone has to create a request. That is a request of a transaction. So here already I told you that the blockchain is an expanding list of record. So the record is called as a block. So the block is linked by the cryptography. So here each block that contains the data set, the timestamp, cryptographic hash, that is we may say the cipher security fingerprint and the hash of the previous block, like that. So that will be available in the second thing. First the request will be generated. So once the requested is created, the requested transaction is broadcast to the peer-to-peer network that consisting of a computer that is known as node. Here, so everything can make it in a node format. So once here all the way we are doing the validation. So once the validation is done, so the network of nodes that validate the transactions and the user's status using the some known algorithm. So once the validation is done, then we are going to verify the transaction, whether that is verifying the transaction with the help of cryptocurrency contract or records or some other information. Once all that information is verified, then we have to create a new block of data for the ledger. So that information can be going to add in the ledger. So once it's added in that, so the new block is then added to the existing blockchain. So in a way that is a permanent and it may be unalterable, like that. So once that information is added in the ledger, or the block of data is added in the ledger, then after that it will be go for the transactions, like that. So that is a overview. That is a working principle of that blockchain. So here, what is actually whenever we are talking about that blockchain, that very important attribute or the important features, the four main features. So the four main attribute of blockchain technology is the first one is a decentralization. So the decentralization is nothing but, as I already told you, this is a normal network, a normal server system, as well as the blockchain system. Here the decentralization is nothing but it allows the authorized users to have the same power to upload and to check the informations. Unlike that other traditional transactions that need to be approved by the central authority, but here it's not like that. So thus the blockchain eliminates the central powers and addresses the information inequality by allowing for the direct transactions between the users. So that is a decentralization. That's the first very important primary advantage or primary features of that decentralized blockchain technology. Second very important thing, whenever we are talking about that blockchain, is the security is a very important thing. So the security, that's already told, that is here we are following about the block-wise or node-wise. So the security prevents the breakdown of the whole network because a single point or single point failure will not affect to the failure of the whole network, then which can minimize the chance of hacking also. So that's the thing. So that's as per that security concern, is a very secure system based on the blockchain. And third, very, very important advantage or important features is the immutability. So whenever we are talking about the immutability ensures the records originality as well as the authenticity. So we provide the whether the record is originally correct or authentically correct or not. That type of things will be checked out, and also the meaning that the historic data cannot be modified without notifying other users. So that's a very important point in the immutability. And we will see what is immutability in the upcoming slide, because the immutability is a very, very important feature of or attribute in the blockchain technology. So hence, this can reduce the human intervention of records. So that is the third important attribute. Fourth important attribute is a smart contract. So whenever we are talking about that smart contract, here a digitalized contract and operates automatically once pre-established conditions are met. So this can fasten the transactions and improve the trust also. So in this case, in this smart contract, no single users can make the changes on contract as it is based on the agreement of all the members in the network. That's a very, very important thing. That's a smart contract. That's a primary advantage of this blockchain technology. So this is overview. That's what important features or attribute of blockchain technology. And then see the basic structure of blockchain. Before seeing the basic structure of blockchain, what is the current server network? What type of server networking we are using in the currently? See, as per the current server network, here normally the blockchain is a process of passing the information from stage 1 to stage 2 in a process, so which takes place in a fully automated and safe environment. But whereas in this current server network, so here all the information is there, every information that's a personal computer that, or a phone, but everything will be taken from the server, single server. So here the data is stored in a single server. This is a normally actually what we are using in the current nowadays. Actually, normal networking system. See, in this case, the data is stored in a single server, but here end user or set of end users connected to this network. See here the end user. So we are the end users. The end user may be any kind of end user. So we are the end user. The end user or set of end user connected to this server can access to this data. That's one important point. Another important point, here the data, if accessed or it can be easily modified or even tampered in this server. So that is there's no security at all. And another important thing here, single server is prone to hacking and so that's it is paralyzing the entire system. Why? Because it's relying on this server, single server only. So that is mainly the attacking will be happening. So there is no security at all in this normal server network. So to avoid such a thing, we go for the blockchain network or blockchain technology. So as per this blockchain, see this is the previous one. This is the current server network. Here, single server is there. So easily we can modify or easily we can tamper the data from this server. But as per that blockchain, as per the structure of the blockchain, as per the blockchain network, here in this blockchain network, here the data is not stored in a single server. It is decentralized. Why? Because as per the parameter, as per the features of blockchain technology, first feature or first attribute is a decentralized. So here, every data, all the data is stored in a form of decentralized manner. And another very important thing in this blockchain network, here the data is stored by several, or we may say some maybe a millions of computers linked together in blockchain network, one to another. That's a peer-to-peer, or one node to another node, or one block to another block, like that. So here, another thing, the data is cryptographically stored inside the blockchain, and another very important thing, it's immutable. So here, every participant in the network can access the history of each and every transaction. That's the thing. You see here, each and every actually here this is a block here chain. The chain is there. So 1 to 1. So either the forward or backward direction is possible. So easily every participant in the network can access the history of transaction. And another important thing here, the data is cryptographically stored inside within the blockchain. And also these are the immutable also. So that is the primary advantage of this blockchain network. So here, another important thing, how it will be very useful, how we actually based on this networking, based on this blockchain networking, here actually every network, every network can be act as a different thing. Like suppose for example, within a food supply chain, there are different participants involved in each step. Like we may say that from the farmers to the processors and manufacturer, some certifying agency, apart from that, some government agencies, some logistics, distributors, retailers, like that. So all the each and every actor, so each and every actors is act as a one block. So the farmer, producer, processors, manufacturer, or agency, any government agency or any certifying agency or any distributor, retailer, like that. So here, each of these participants share the critical information about the product that sits in their own local server. So that information is not accessible to other participants and thus there is an increased change of food fraud in the system. That's a very important thing. So if a customer, suppose I'm the customer, suppose I want to buy some organic tomato ketchup. So in that case, mainly they rely on the label claim. So based on the label claim only. So in that case, the manufacturer of that ketchup relies on the supplier of tomato puree or a concentrate processor like that. So here the tomato processor rely on the claim or organic certification or furnished by the farmer or farmer association or like that. So like that here the information is going on. So here another very important thing, the food certification. So based on the food certification only, we are going to providing authenticity of the food, whether this food is quality food or whether this food is organic food, like that. So that will be verified by the authorized agency. So all the way, every agency or from each and every what the end user, each and every actor is act as a separate link or separate block like that. So that is the thing. So here, understanding the immutability of blockchain. So already I told you the immutability is a very important feature or attribute in that blockchain. So the immutability in the sense here the security for the it's for the security purpose. So here, whenever we are talking about the immutability, here the information or data provided by each participant is referred to as a transaction that forms a block. So this block is verified by the thousands or millions of computers distributed around the blockchain network, and the verified block is added to the chain. Like already we have seen how it works. So once everything is verified, it will be added into the ledger. So that is a verified block is added into the chain, so which is stored as a multiple copies across the net. So this will create the unique record with a unique history like that. So whenever we are modifying a single record, that would mean modifying the entire chain in millions of computers, that is a node, which is practically impossible. So in that cases, this unique property of blockchain is due to the cryptographic hash function. So that is immutable. The immutability mainly based on the hash function. So in simple term, we make the hashing means that just converting all the input data or the information of any length into the fixed length output. So that's the thing. Just see this example. Here the input is a hash. So here I want some pure tomato ketchup. Whenever we are talking about some for the security purpose, we are using some cryptographic hash function. The first one is a tomato puree in shaded blue color. That is a capital P like that. So whenever we are changing capital P into small p, just see the code. We are changing capital P into small p. Whenever we are using capital P, in that case the code is like that. So this is a fixed code. This code is generated with the help of the cryptographic hash function. See, that is the thing. But whenever we are changing capital P into small p, that totally this whole code has changed. So it's not possible, easily not possible to the hackers is not possible to hack the things. So that's the thing. That is the immutability. That is mainly the immutability is applied based on the cryptographic hash function. So consider that's the thing. So here the first actually input is a hash. Here the second thing, the tomato puree. Here just we are this is this hash function for the capital P. So when we are changing that capital P into small p, the second the tomato puree, this is the hash code for that thing. So just that whole thing changes drastically. So that is the very important thing. So here it should be also noted that irrespective of the size of the input text or any information, the length of the hash remains same, but fully it's changed. So that is the immutability concept. So that is a very important feature. And that is it's an example of how the hash changes drastically with the slight changes in the input from capital P into small p like that. So here another important thing that's as per the food supply chain. Here what about the stages of supply chain? So whenever we are talking about the supply chain, as per the supply chain, already I told you, it starts with the farmer, processor, and some certification agency, either private or government or whatever it may be, and end up with the logistic, and finally it will go to the consumer side like that. So here in the blockchain, here each block, first block is a farmer, second block is a processor, third block is a certification, different type of certification and different approval, like that. Finally, end up with the logic. So these here actually four blocks or four nodes are there. So here one node is linked to another block or another node that contain the data and a hash of the data inside the previous block. So every information is linking from one node to another node. Address of the subsequent node is there and everything. So if you any change in the data at any stage or any block, that will change the hash drastically. Therefore, the causing an avalanche effect that disrupting the entire blockchain. So that will be that you can correlate it with the generic mutation concept. So in point mutation, a single change in the any changes that the entire genetic makeup like that. So in that cases, here to understand the data input in the different stages, like starting with the format, processor, certification, and logistic. So here the block and hash and the blockchain refer to that one after another. So every actually here the hash of the block and color of the block and its a hash in the subsequent block is kept the same like that. So that's a thing. So like that. See the first farmer in the blue color. The link of the farmer is going to that processor. So that's the address of the farmer is available in the processor. That's why it's first it's make it as a blue and followed by the processor color is a pink like that. Next, the ping is followed to the certification. So the address of this process is available in the certification. So like that, it will be going and the scenario is going like that. So that's why this is the stages of supply chain in that food industry based on the blockchain technology. So that's the thing. And the second important topic is the importance of blockchain technology in the food industry. So whenever we are talking about the importance of blockchain technology in the food industry, here now why would blockchain technology originally developed for what any financial management or any cryptocurrencies be important for the food industry? Yes, when compared to the other industries, the value chain of the food industry are more vulnerable. That's why we started with that applications of blockchain in the food industry. So it requires more attention to production, either the pre-harvest or post-harvest handling, processing, transportation, marketing, we may say the distribution and retailing, especially when dealing with the seasonal as well as the time-sensitive product also. So in that cases, that blockchain is very important. So on the top of it, the food has a natural characteristics of changing in quality constantly. Furthermore, external environment such as temperature and shipping can change the food product quality and freshness also. So besides that, the processed food with a longer shelf life might it involve the complicated production process with a mixture of many ingredients like that. Those complications contribute to the higher risk of the product failure and need to be extra careful with the quality of raw material from the raw material itself. So these are the major challenges the food industry facing today, where the blockchain can be a promising solution. So that's the thing. So here, all the way, we will start with the certification of the origin and batch numbers, processing data. So that information is stored in the blockchain record, the first block. And second, here all the shipping date, order number, that code and barcode and everything available in the second record or second block. Next, the certificate of origin, batch number, production data. So that available in the third block like that. So that is a different data handling or different type of block for the different purpose. So in that cases, here the blockchain technology guarantee the traceability and authenticity of the information that would impact the food supply chain dramatically. So furthermore, here mainly we are using the smart contractual relationship that create a trusted environment, such as enforcing the product authenticity certification as well as ownership certification of the suppliers. So that's also very important thing that will be provided. That actually that kind of information will be provided by that blockchain technology. So here the certificates are permanently registered along the chain. So all the way, whenever we want, we can take that certificate from that chain itself. So that's why the technology control the risk of supply chain members moving the fraudulent foods like that. So as per that IDC, that food IDC predicted by 2021, about 30% of manufacturers and retailers globally will have built the digital trust through the blockchain services like that. So that it enabled the collaborative supply chain, and also it allow the consumers to access the product histories, as well as reducing the transaction cost by 35% like that. So that's a very important point. So this is the importance of blockchain technology in the food industry. So next, is it okay? Am I audible?
Yes, sir, audible.
Yes. So a third important thing is the benefits of what a blockchain technology in the food industry. So how that the blockchain technology will be useful for the food industry. So first one here, it mainly strengthen the supply chain management, and second important thing is mitigate the food fraud while protecting the from brand. And the third important thing is build the trust and the loyalty of consumers. And fourth important thing is a food supervisor. And fifth is a prevent the price cohesion and prevent the food wastage like that. So finally, it's a sustainability and the integration with the enterprise resource planning and Internet of Things. So these are some of the benefits of what the blockchain technology, very particularly in the food industry. So first, strengthen the supply chain management. So whenever we are talking about how we are strengthening the supply chain management, in the sense here, supply chain can improve the already we know it's a transparency, mainly security, and hello. Yeah. So the blockchain can improve the transparency, security, and robustness of the food supply chain. So here, the technology provides a shared information platform for all the partners in the supply chain. That's who are all the actors, or who are all the end users, everything. So and another very important thing, it verifies the origin of the food products or any raw materials or real-time location and the status of the product at any step, and to monitor the inventory and the quality standard along the supply chain. That's a very important thing. So here, how that blockchain is strengthen the supply chain management in the sense here. First, the designer who designed the software, it automatically record the blockchain fingerprint for the data file. So here everything can be stored, make it in a chain format, that's a block format. Once it will be there, once the designer attempts to send the data data file to the manufacturer, so here check whether the actor is a good actor or bad actor like that, and it's still the data, and send the correct file like that. So in that case, just we are checking out all the way. We are doing the authenticity of the product. So here once again check with the manufacturer. Then after, in the meanwhile, this manufacturer will check with that blockchain. Anytime he or she may will check with that blockchain block related to that authenticity of that product. So the software automatically check the data ownership, and if any breaches or anything is discovered in the sense the blockchain fingerprint is not present, then the chain will be break out like that. So that is the strength of the supply chain management. And here mainly in that supply chain management, here it gather the detailed information such as the product temperature, environmental conditions, and other important factors for the quality management purpose. So which is particularly important for any that product, particularly the some perishable product like that. So most importantly, it secures the collected record, as it reduces the risk of data stealing and hacking. That's a very important thing. And as a result, here the blockchain technology to helping the companies to create a more informed and predictable supply chain, as well as they gained 360 views of entire supply chain activity. That's a very, very important primary purpose of this blockchain in food technology. That is a 360 view of entire supply chain activity. So that will be happening all the way, all the time. That's a very important advantage. And second thing, it mitigates the food fraud while protecting the brand. So here, whenever we are talking about this food fraud and other thing, here mainly the data on a blockchain is permanently stored and maintained by all stakeholders within the supply chain network. So in that cases, the blockchain's biggest importance is in providing the traceability for everyone on the chain. That is happening. So here from the farmers through the manufacturer, wholesaler, retailer, or consumer, whoever it may be. So all the way the tracing will be happening. So here the multiple stakeholders can have the direct product profile access and save the copies of the record, and also can be retrieved on demand anytime. So for instance, the manufacturers can see this example. This is this figure. So here the physical flow of what any kind of food branding. Second thing is a digital flow, and here the blockchain network. So here, as per that, farmers register the items, and producers verify and certify the item, and distributor delivering the item, retailer selling the item. So all the way, all the information is available here. CPR, the digital flow actually is not, the one flow is not linked with the other flow. Just see the thing is normally nowadays we are using this kind of digital flow only, but it's not possible to trace out from actually all the way. It's not possible to do it. But in the blockchain network, easily it's possible from one block to another block, because easily the traceability is available. So for instance, here the manufacturers can monitor their suppliers to make sure that the raw material quality meets requirements, whereas the end users, the consumers, can trace the product's journey to determine its origin and guarantee their authenticity like that. In the meanwhile, the full transparency of the data that helps the brand owners to quickly and proactively identify the sources of any contaminations like that. So they can manage the potentially harmful food fraud without disrupting the whole supply chain like that. So that is a very, very important. So with the help of that blockchain, the food fraud will be actually easily identified, and it will be easily thrown out like that. And third important thing is we have to build the trust and loyalty of consumers. So whenever we are talking about the trust and loyalty of the consumer here, mainly this blockchain-based supply chain management, it builds the trust amongst the supply chain stakeholders in the way the food products are manufactured, processed, and delivered. So because the data uploaded visible to anyone within a network that is error-free, and it cannot be manipulated or it cannot be hacked out. So that will bring the transparency and trust to the complex supply chain. And also it protects the every stakeholder's benefits and eliminates the information's inequality. That is also another important thing in the trust and loyalty of consumers. And apart from that, the blockchain, it helps the consumer confidence with automatic digitizing and easily sharing the audits or any kind of certificates or any other relevant records on the sustainable practices like that. And also it acts as a evidence for the containing the product, such as whether the food is a halal food, or it's an organic food, or any fair trade food like that. So consumers will assume the better quality, which will increase their purchasing decision power like that. So that's why here we are building trust and loyalty of the consumers based on the blockchain. And fourth important thing is the supervision, food supervisor. So whenever we are talking about the food supervisor based on the blockchain technology, here according to the World Health Organization, already I told you that almost 1 in 10 people globally suffer the illness due to the eating contaminated food globally, that resulting in approximately that 4,20,000 deaths, of which 1,25,000 are children under the 5 years old like that. So fortunately, A blockchain technology, it's eliminate the counterfeit product along the food supply chain. So here the blockchain can notify the food poisoning outbreaks like that. And also the food supervision, it analyzes the root cause of the outbreak since the food market transaction information is already being recorded. Subsequently, the number of disease outbreaks and victims can be reduced. So moreover, immutability feature of the blockchain is specifically useful during the food recall, which can prevent any related stakeholders to change the history and escape from the responsibility like that. So next important thing is it prevents the price correlation. So whenever we are talking about the price correlation here, the blockchain technology applications in the food industry reduce the transaction fees as well as middlemen or some sort of intermediaries. So here, consequently, the intermediary would get a less chance to collect more money from the farmers or any manufacturers. So here the food producers can reap better and significant economic benefits. Plus, the consumer gets the premium quality product delivered by the brand with a good reputation at the reasonable cost or reasonable prices also. So that is the prevent price cohesion. And next, the prevent the food wastage. It's a very important thing. So according to the United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization, around 1.3 billion tons, which are approximately 1/3 of food produced in the world, it gets wasted yearly. So here, by the blockchain-based traceability, it is possible to track the quantity of food wasted and as well as the food rescued throughout the entire supply chain. So thus, with the help of this, quantity tracking of the food wastage as well as the food rescue, this leading to reduce the product loss as well as the increase the margin also. So moreover, here the stakeholders can regulate the operation of the supply chain in some clear manner as well as some charitable manner, as they can arrange the food aid for the families struggling with the hunger and some sort of malnutritions like that. So another thing that notably, untargeted food recall is one of the major causes of the food wastage. So here the blockchain technology can improve this kind of food recall efficiency also. So you can retrieve the needed information that isolate product from the certain suppliers and narrow down the product recall ranges also. It can help to remove the certain product and ingredients from the root of the we may say the root of the problem immediately to prevent the further loss like that. On the other hand, when any kind of food marketing institute and some grocery manufacturing association that revealed that the company's average cost of a food recall is around we may say that approximately $10 million. In addition to brand damage and also lost the sales according to the joint industry are like that. So that is also mainly predicted or mainly predicted under the blockchain technology and sustainability. So whenever we are talking about the sustainability, here the food companies are encouraged to be more sustainable as the traceability feature of the blockchain and able to monitor the environmental impacts. So this traditional traceability system mainly depend on the paper-based system in the earlier system, in the traditional system, like paper-based system. And also it causes the difficulties for stakeholders integration like that. So moreover, the paper documentation can be time-consuming. Also it causes some human errors also. So the blockchain smart contract can save the paperwork and also minimize the human error, human labor efforts, and reduce the unnecessary cost like that. For instance, here the payment can be transferred to producers automatically once the product arrives at the warehouse. So it should be automated. And furthermore, the global supply chain becomes the more complex with some diverse policies to adopt in the different countries like that. So the globalized standardization can be adaptable for all the countries by applying the blockchain concept. So the company can avoid the duplicative work as well as it can save the resources as well as the time. That's the thing. And finally, that integration with the enterprise resource planning and Internet of Things. So whenever we are integrating ERP with ERP IoT with blockchain technology can be highly beneficial. Why? Because ERP, the enterprise resource planning, it streamlines the inventory and inventory and production management processes that include the trace, logistics, and delivery, warehousing, and all other information. And blockchain smart contract can say that is a thing. And apart from that, while the IoT is an intelligent and a high-speed information network that connect the physical product through the sensors. The sensor maybe that it includes this GPS or GIS or a RFID or a WSN, etc. So here the IoT devices capture the accurate and real-time data in a continuous stream that can automatically feed into the internal ERP system like that. So here no more manual recording or no human effort required to scan the barcode and other things. So this real-time information capturing the ability is particularly important for the frozen and fresh food product as a quality is closely related to the external environment. So the synergy between ERP, IoT, and blockchain foster the exchange of immutable data along the supply chain and the smart contract that accelerate the processing time like that. So that's the thing. And the fourth important thing, this is the applications of blockchain. The applications of blockchain in food industry. So whenever we are talking about the applications of blockchain in food industry here, the blockchain when integrated with the latest technologies for data capturing has a huge potential in the food industry. The first important point. Second, the building on the respective strength of blockchain and the Internet of Things, then we can revolutionize the food industry as well as the IoT solutions. It links the physical and digital world, capturing the data like temperature and humidity during the transportation or storage of product. So in that cases, the blockchain it provides a secure and an immutable platform where this data can be stored and accessed by every participant in the supply chain. So in this, as per that latest report, that is a key vertical opportunities, trend and challenges 2019 to 2030. Here the Juniper research, it shows that a blockchain used in the IoT sensors and trackers will have several advantages. So as per that, the first advantage is it will streamline the supply chain and reducing the retailer's cost. And as well as it offers the simpler regulatory compliance, and it will enhance and expedite the food recall process, and it will enable the $31 million in food fraud savings globally by 2024. So according to the 28 policy paper by the Food and Agriculture Organization of United Nations, the blockchain would dramatically transform the food supply chain in India. So that's a very important thing. So here the already we discussed about the smart contract. So a smart contract can reduce the number of intermediaries in the supply chain networks. So that is the applications of blockchain. And next, what are the 5 blockchain companies that are improving the food industry? So as per that, blockchain companies, very particularly in USA, so here the retail giant Walmart recently employed the blockchain to track and trace its the supply chains, and it's being hailed as a next generation solution in the food industry. So as a blockchain became increasingly prevalent in the food industry, see here we have actually I have listed out some 5 US companies that are using the technology to change the way you eat like that. The first one is a Transparent Path. This is a one US company, and second thing is IBM. Third is the Ripe.io and Green Fence, and fifth one is a Hungry Coin. So these are the 5 actually topmost blockchain companies in USA. So we will see one by one. The first one is a Transparent Path. So the Transparent Path, the location of the Transparent Path is Seattle, that was Washington. how it's using the blockchain in food. So how this transparent path, it is an industry actually. Here, their product is certified by the blockchain. See this figure here. This product this product is certified. This is a blockchain certified like that. How it's using the blockchain in food. So how the transparent path. As per the transparent path, this platform may display the farm to distributor journey of food in real time and the company's chain of custody. That software helps the restaurant and some food brand manage the food safety and consumer to research a food origin like that. So what is the industry impact? What about that transparent path industry impact? In the sense here, the transparent path framework, it combines the printed sensor technology. Mainly it uses the printed sensor technology and third-party auditors and decentralized blockchain apps to give the food vendors a transparent real-time look at their food chain of custody like that. So that's the first company in USA, Seattle. And second company is IBM. So the location of the IBM is Amnok in New York. So how it's using the blockchain in food. So how the IBM is using the IBM, in IBM actually how the blockchain is used in the food in the sense here, the IBM created the IBM Food Trust to help bring the transparency and efficiency to food supply chain. And also this company has dozens of products that measure the food safety and freshness and help to reduce the waste like that. And apart from that, this IBM, the company that provide the real-time certifications, test data and temperature data that ensure that proper food handling protocols are met. And here the industry impact, what is the industry impact of IBM in the sense here, the IBM is partnered with Walmart to help launch the retailers food track and trace the program like that. So here IBM is open source ledger that lets the Walmart officials trace the lifespan of their product from farm to table and also to ensure the safety of the product like that. And third thing is RIPE-IO. So as per the RIPE-IO, the location is the San Francisco in California. How it using the blockchain in the food in the sense here, mainly it uses is So mainly the RIPE-IO mainly located in that San Francisco. How it using the blockchain in the food in the sense it uses the blockchain to increase the transparency in the food supply chain. That is a thing. And as well as this RIPE-IO, this company mainly provide the variety of tools to map the food journey, including the supply chain tracking, secure data aggregation, and the brand quality verification, as well as the sensor and IoT integration. Everything can be integrated in RIPE-IO. And what is the industry impact in the sense here, this blockchain is being implemented in many ways through the end-to-end food process like that. So that is the thing. So next, fourth one is the green fence. The green fence is located in the Manhattan Beach, California. How it's using blockchain in the food in the sense here, it's this platform mainly uses the ledger technology that is used to authenticate and trace all the actors in the food chain of custody process. Like we may say here, the software identify and certify the people, locations, the distributors, any kind of equipment, and also anything else that involved in the farm to table process to ensure that quality standard are being met every step of the way like that. And what is the industry impact of that green fence in the sense? This green fence platform will provide each farmer and distributor with the biography and messaging channel. So the consumer easily can read about them and reach out with questions or some sort of some concerns or any kind of queries like that. So that is a green fence. And the fifth one is a Hungry Coin. So the location of the Hungry Coin is in New York, and how it's using a blockchain in the food in the sense here. With the help of the Hungry Coins, there is a universal blockchain reward system, and the restaurants can engage and reward the patrons with the digital Hungry Coin utility tokens like that. The industry impact in the sense here, this ecosystem, this Hungary coin ecosystem feature the cold storage wallets for the storage and quick use of the tokens like that. So that's the thing. These are the different 5 industries. And another thing, actually, how we are building, how to build your own blockchain using Node.js. So here, actually, before that, just we want to discuss what is a Node.js. Just I want to give the overview about the Node.js and what are the different approaches for blockchain development with Node.js. So the first we'll see about what is Node.js. So here the Node.js is it's a popular runtime environment with we may say with the famous apps like Twitter or LinkedIn or PayPal. Mainly they are using this kind of environment only. So here it's developed by Randall in 2011. So the Node.js uses the version 8, which is a Google's open source JavaScript engine like that. So here the Node.js is having some advantage. So the first advantage, it mainly enable the asynchronous event-driven programming. So asynchronous event-driven programming is nothing but which eliminated the blocking processes. So whenever it's eliminate the blocking process, this improves the scalability. That's the first important advantage. So I will repeat once again. This Node.js is asynchronous event-driven programming. So when it's enabling the asynchronous event-driven programming, mainly it eliminates the blocking process. So whenever we are eliminating the blocking process, this improves the scalability. And second advantage is a highly permanent runtime environment. And it's a developers with JavaScript expertise can easily learn the Node.js and improve their productivity. And the data streaming is easier to implement with the Node.js. And here thousands of shareable open source modules and tools is useful for boosting the vibrant developer community. And open source NoSQL database like MongoDB, it uses the JavaScript. Therefore, the Node.js is the developer can easily implement these kind of things. So this is an overview of Node.js. So here we are having 2 different approaches for development of the blockchain with Node.js. So approach 1, with the help of the Lisk. So the approach 1 here, actually we are having a lot to plan for when undertaking such kind of blockchain development. So here the first we have to identify, first we have to determine whether you need blockchain. Second, we have to decide whether you need a crypto token. And the third thing, you need to choose between the public or private blockchain. And the fourth one, we have to need to choose the right platform. So for developing your project. And finally, we have to end up with select the right tool for your development like that. So based on that, all the way we are having the recommendation. The recommendation is Node.js is the best approach. But in that, we are having 2 different approaches. The first approach is use a Lisk if you are developing a D app on a public blockchain like that. Second approach, you have to use a Fabric. The Fabric if you are development project in an enterprise environment like that. So we will see what are the different steps for enabling such kind of developing such a kind of blockchain development using Node.js. So the first approach is the blockchain development on Lisk. So here you can use the Lisk to develop a public blockchain D app that utilizes the Node.js. So that as follows the first step 1. So for the first step, we have to build your development team. So as per the development team, whenever we are talking about the development team, it's based on the blockchain. Here we have to analyze, all the way we have to need the following roles. First role is a business analyst. Second role is a user interface or user experience designer. Third role is some sort of JavaScript developer is needed. And a smart contract developer, tester, and some sort of project manager. So these are the development team. So you have to ensure it. Mainly the JavaScript developer and the smart contract developer is very, very important for making such kind of development using Node.js. And step 2, you have to buy Lisk crypto tokens. So the Lisk crypto tokens, we may say LSK crypto tokens, to develop an app on the Lisk platform. So in that case, it involves some steps. First, we have to download or install and install the Lisk Hub in your desktop or laptop. This offers secure storage for your Lisk tokens. So that token we can send and receive the Lisk easily. Once the token is generated, that will be easier for you to vote in the Lisk network decision making process. So after that, we have to create the Lisk Hub. So that Lisk Hub to create your Lisk ID and initialize your Lisk account and buy the Lisk from the crypto exchange like that. And next step 3, we have to set up the Lisk core. So the Lisk core is nothing but it's a program for implementing the Lisk protocol. Why? Because here all the way we are actually following the networking. So here the protocol is very important. So here we are using the Lisk protocol. So the Lisk core is a program for implementing the Lisk protocol. So here we have to use some relevant tasks. So Lisk core mainly uses the Node.js as the engine for the code execution, and also it uses the PostgreSQL database to store all the information on the Lisk main network. And it also uses the Redis as the database to catch the API response like that. And fourth point, we have to set up the Lisk commander. So here the Lisk commander is nothing but we may say it's a command level interface, CLI, a command level interface to use the Lisk core API. So you may use it as a development process. And step 5 is we have to set up the Lisk element. So the Lisk element is nothing but it's a JavaScript library which has quite a few Node.js packages you can install separately. For the cryptographic functions, passphrase helper, or creating, signing, or verifying the transaction like that. You can use some Lisk elements. And step 6 is you have to develop, test, and deploy your app. So the first, the fourth step is very important. We have to buy the Lisk crypto token. I'll set up the Lisk core and set up the Lisk commander and the Lisk element. So based on that, the Lisk development, the blockchain development is developed based on the Lisk. And second approach is using the Node.js on Fabric. So whenever we are talking about that Fabric, here this approach is mainly involved the following steps. The first one, we have to, the previous approach, we have to form a development team. And step 2, we have to choose a blockchain as a service platform. So here we have to choose a blockchain as a service platform. So in that, here so many blockchain blockchain as a service platform is available. You may, my recommendation is you may use IBM blockchain platform. So IBM blockchain platform for blockchain as a service platform. So step 3, familiarize yourself with the Fabric Node.js SDK library. So here, so in that case, we have to, that Fabric offer a Node.js SDK for the blockchain app development. So here, some important fact about that Node.js SDK. It works with the Node.js runtime, and it provides a robust API to communicate with the Fabric blockchain network. And developers can use the SDK to submit the transactions to Fabric chain codes like that. And next step 4, you have to use the Fabric Node.js SDK on IBM blockchain platform. So here they're using the Fabric Node, Fabric Node.js SDK on the IBM blockchain platform. Actually, it involves some activity. First, we have to choose the right of IBM blockchain platform, and deploy the IBM blockchain platform and install the C URL, and also install the Node.js runtime and npm, and finally install the Fabric samples like that. So the steps are there, and this is the overview, and finally I conclude my session. So whenever we are talking talking about the blockchain, so by applying the blockchain technology, the companies in the food supply chain can communicate transparently to consumers and the regulators. So moreover, it raises the awareness about the sustainability opportunities and the practices at each step of the supply chain. And another thing, that substantively the blockchain technology improve the brand equity, reputation, and a trustful relationship with the consumers. So the blockchain technology is set to transform the food industry. One only needs to take example of that IBM supply chain blockchain solution that being tested by the Walmart. So that's the thing. So the real question, how long it will take before the blockchain becomes an industry standard? So the technology is still relatively and faces many hurdles before it can become the solution to many of the problems that it is currently being developed to solve. So it seems that we are the less than a few years before the first supply chain blockchain is fully implemented. So after this has happened, more and more companies will race to jump on board. So this will be a positive feedback cycle as it will speed development and create an even even bigger what a need as a solution get more and more sophisticated. So the blockchain in the food industry will soon be a must. So next we may wait for the blockchain application, blockchain in the particularly for the food-oriented food industry. So some of the best blockchain, we may see the best blockchain platform is IBM blockchain, Ripple, OpenChain, and Ethereum like that. So with this brief our conclusion, thus I will conclude my session. Thank you.
Sir. Sir, please show me the slide 3.3, sir. Hello.
Hello.
Sir, please once again show me the slide 3.3, sir. 3.3 and 3.5.
Yes, 3.3
and 3.5, sir.
This one?
Yeah, it is loading. Next one, sir, 3.3.
Is it?
Yeah, next point, sir. Second point is also there. Yeah, thank you, sir. And similarly, 3.5. .5, sir.
Okay. Is it okay?
Thank you, sir. Yeah, it is okay, sir.
So any queries?
Dear participants, is there any query you can ask now? I think there's no query, sir.
Okay.
Thanks for the wonderful session, sir. Once again, thank you for accepting this invitation immediately without hesitation, sir. And thank you for explaining the blockchain in food applications in a very wonderful way, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Now we can leave the session, sir. Let me conclude here, sir. Dear participants, the feedback link for session 3 has been posted in the chat box. So kindly fill it quickly as possible. All the feedback has to be posted to get the certificate. So feedback is taken as an attendance. So the feedback has to be posted. Again, once again, post the session 2 and session 3.